Ideal parenting is parenting with an ideal in view. Today, thinkers, scientists, philosophers, psychologists all over the world have come to this conclusion that the sure solution to at least half the problems of today's world are there in adopting proper parenting methods. Now, according to Hindu ethics, that the very purpose of marriage is to produce children of character. Strong, healthy, intelligent, morally grounded offspring is the very purpose of marriage. So, marriage is not a license to sensuality. It has this deep spiritual evolutionary purpose. In Sanskrit, the word of family is very interesting. Grihastha ashram. It is an ashram, a holy place where emotional commitment and value education metamorphose into higher intellectual and spiritual development. Now the mother is the pivot of the family and her influence on the child is the greatest. Thus, under the context of infinite possibilities of women, ideal mothering is perhaps the greatest contribution a woman can make towards the betterment of society and towards a brighter future. Now let us try to understand some very important psychological facts which will give us an insight into this ideal of parenting. First, today's psychologists have found that it's an amazing fact that a child's psychological maturity is attained as early as the age of 7. That is, his general worldview and conditioned responses developed by that age. Now the influences falling on him up to that age are very, very important. And the mother is the person who influences him most. So what she does and what she says becomes the absolute truth for him. Not just that, it has been seen that EQ, that is emotional quotient, it is the ability to harmonize and stabilize our emotions and use them for higher purposes. This, you know how important a concept it is in today's psychology. This EQ is almost hereditary in transmission. That is, it is transmitted from parent to child. What the child sees in the mother will become his very nature. Now let me give you some modern methods of parenting. The first is understanding the conditioning power of pure love and positive emotions on the child. It is just like how every parent knows it is the duty of the parent to provide a safe and secure environment for the child. It is also important for them to know that positive emotions, the child must be bombarded with positive emotions and not negative ones. For example, if a child receives pure love from the parents in childhood, if he is not a neglected child, then that child, when he grows up, naturally learns to love others. He will not have to be separately taught to be loving and kind and empathic. No, he will naturally be that kind of a person. And if a child receives encouragement in childhood, he learns to be an encouraging person, tolerant of others, encouraging and forgiving. And a child who receives religious education as a child, he invariably becomes a man of values. So you see the simple equations of parenting. All this can be achieved by introducing simple methods at home. And then every day some little amount of good reading, like from the Bhagavad Gita, at least 2 verses. You can sit and read before the children, discuss the points with them, the meaning, or the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. All this has tremendous influence on the child's mind. The methods are very simple. The second important method is choosing the right role models for our children. You see, children are born imitators. And if we do not provide the right role models, they will pick up the wrong ones. For example, if we keep a picture of Swami Vivekananda in the child's room, every morning when he gets up, he first sees that picture. When you show respect towards that picture, the child will naturally learn to show respect. When he starts respecting and adoring that picture, he will know the values embodied by that personality are respectable. So the opposite is not respectable. So naturally he moves away from what is wrong. This is the importance of providing right role models. Now let me conclude with a very interesting example from Indian history. All of you have heard of the name of Shivaji. He was the 15th century emperor of the Maratha kingdom who stemmed the Muslim invasion of India from the north. Now Shivaji's mother was Jijabai. Jijabai was not just his mother, she was his guide, mentor, trainer in everything, starting from swordsmanship, archery, horse riding, military affairs, administration, everything Jijabai trained Shivaji. And her training was so ideal that it was reflected in Shivaji's actions. Historians record with pride some of the very rare things you will find in his administration. Like for example, war hostages, prisoners of war were treated with respect in Shivaji's war camps. And their women were escorted with honor back to their own homes by Shivaji's own army, which is something unheard of in the history of war, isn't it? War is an example of extreme hate, but what is this example? Historians are stunned to record it, and all this because when Shivaji was a little child, Jijabai had told him, "Learn to look upon all women as myself. Mai shikha debe na to ke debe." It is the duty of the mother to sensitize the child to her cultural and spiritual values, because it is from sensitivity that sensibility develops. From sensibility, discrimination develops. Tomorrow when the child is left to himself, he will learn to make the right decisions. He will be able to discriminate between right and wrong if he was sensitized properly in childhood. So this is the ideal of parenting. With this example from our own glorious history, let me conclude. Let us not say that, oh, children just grow up by themselves and they don't listen to us. It has been possible in the past, which means it is always a possibility in the future. With this, let me end.